The time is now 6 p.m. Our regular city council meeting for January 25th, 2022 is now in session. First on the agenda is Mayor Pro Tem Dalla will lead us with the opening prayer and the pledges of allegiance to the flags of the United States and the state of Texas.
Good evening, everybody. Let us pray. Father in heaven, we commit this meeting to you. Come and reveal your will in every aspect of our life and ministry. And as we discuss the affairs of this city, we ask for your will to be done. Show us your purposes, enlighten us that we may know how you want us to accomplish our tasks. We desire your glory and blessing in all we do. Direct our thoughts, words, decisions, and actions toward the right path and help us stay on track. Let your will be done as we plan to make these decisions tonight. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Dalla. All right, first we have a presentation, Fleet Management. Chris Hernandez will provide us with a presentation on the annual fleet performance update.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez, floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. I'm going to talk about the Fleet Department over the past few years, our performance, vehicles, and overall health of the Fleet Department. A quick overview of this presentation will be fleet staff, maintenance program, 10-year replacement plan, and Building 27, our new fleet maintenance facility. Goals and objectives will be to our maintain, repair vehicles and equipment to increase service life. Also, again, discuss our staff, our fleet authorized vehicles, and to maintain and improve vehicle and equipment safety. Right now, I'm going to talk about our staff. Excuse me. Currently, we do have one fleet manager, myself, our fleet crew supervisor. His name is Adrian Puentes. He's been with us 3 months already. Currently, right now, we do have 4 mechanics authorized. We do have 3 in shop, and we just hired our 4th one who's looking to start next month. And we do have our administrative assistant, Ms. Chavez. And right now, this is what our authorized vehicles are for the fleet department throughout the city. There's a total of 204 vehicles assigned to the Schertz fleet. And this is the list of all vehicles per department. So, I guess, our white fleet vehicles, which includes all public works, civic center, city engineering, economic development, inspections, IT parks, and utility billing. Emergency services includes EMS, fire, and PD. And for vehicles, we do have a take-home policy. The overall rationale is accountability, vehicles better maintained and lower maintenance costs, more vehicles available during special events and emergencies. Also, we have vehicles for higher visibility and quicker responses. An example for fleet is we do have a take-home fleet vehicle, our on-call mechanic. Our reason we have that is because, we have emergency calls for like EMS. The fleet mechanic can actually come in the vehicle instead of having to come from his home all the way to the shop, pick up the vehicle, and he can take the truck. That vehicle is actually specifically designed for that purpose. Other take-home vehicles, our water department, they have an on-call. Parks has a department manager who takes his vehicle home also for responding and for, I guess you can say, greater appearance in the area. 5 for fire, 5 EMS, and 49 for the police department. The next slide, this is our performance measures. I've been with the city for 2 years, so when I was working on this, I went back to the 18-19 fiscal year. For this fiscal year, the fleet department had 2,755 work orders. Out of those 2,755, the fleet department completed a total of 2,653 work orders for that fiscal year. Our completion rate was at 96.29% for the year. And as you can see, the total cost for maintenance was about $1.064 million. The next slide is for the 1920 fiscal year. Our work order count decreased during this time by about 9.4% overall. It decreased. Possible causes for the decrease in work orders was this was the time when COVID hit. So I guess, there was a lot of employees working from home, so there was a lot less vehicle traffic on the road. So that resulted in lower work orders being created, but even though we had this overall count of 2,405 for that fiscal year, our completion rate for the 1920 fiscal year was, was 99.8%. Fleet completed 2,402 work orders for that fiscal year. This past fiscal year, 2021, our work orders did increase by a 0.37. You know, after COVID and people starting to come back to work, more vehicles were on the road, so we got a couple more work orders, small increase, but our completion rate for last fiscal year, for the 2021 was 96.27%. We completed a total of 2,327 work orders for the 2021 fiscal year. For our current fiscal year, we're at about 595. Our completion rate for this fiscal year is 66.72. We've completed a total of 397 for this current fiscal year. We are on trend to hit I'd say we're going to hit about 2,300, 2,400 work orders for this fiscal year, and our completion rate is pretty consistent with what's being created is we're consistent in completing as well. This graph was created because it actually does show a trend where our work order completion and comparison rate is coming down. On my right, your left, you can see a sharp decrease in work order completion from June to about in November. In June, between June and August, we did have 2 people resign from the city in the fleet department. And then from October to about November was the move. So we I guess you can say we did fall behind on our work order completion rate. And then as you can see from November into December, the increase, because we were starting to get more established in the shop. You know, building 27 allowed us to bring in more equipment. From building 10 that we were in, we had the 3 doors. So now we have about 10. So that's why our work order completion rate jumped from November to December. And for December to January, it kind of decreased a little bit. We're coming to the holidays, and now that we're back up, you know, I pulled the numbers for January. January, we've created already 200 work orders just for the month of January, and we're still not done yet for January. Our completion rate for right now, when I pulled the numbers, was 137 out of 200 for the month of January. So yes, we're on trend to hit about 2,400 work orders this fiscal year, and our completion rate should be consistent. I'm thinking we'll probably about 2,350 we'll have completed by the end of the fiscal year. So we're trying to keep that comparison completion rate pretty much in line with what we've already done, maybe even better. Now, there's different types of work orders. We have scheduled work orders and unscheduled work orders. Manager Plus is the maintenance software that we use for all of our assets. What you're looking at here on this screen is examples of scheduled work orders. Based on the mileage or service or hours that we have on our vehicles and equipment, these work orders are actually automatically generated from our system. So we have like coolant services, state inspections, oil changes, transmission services. Based on the mileage, the months that we have set up in the system, they automatically generate, and once these once these work orders generate, we actually notify the departments. Like, you know, I'll use facilities for an example. Ms. Chavez, our admin assistant, will send an email out to the facilities manager and supervisors, letting them know your vehicle is due for a coolant service, please bring it in. And those departments do respond, they bring them in, we have the work order created, and we pretty much take it from there. The same goes with oil changes, transmissions, and even state inspections. State inspections come at the first of the month. They are there, and sometimes we get about 40 to 50 work orders created automatically for state inspections. Our other type of work orders are unscheduled work orders. Our unscheduled work orders can be simply, we have vehicles that come in for check engine lights, we have collision damages, just different kinds of repairs that are considered unscheduled that we do bring into the shop, and we try to get those out as soon as possible. Our biggest customer for unscheduled maintenance is EMS. There are ambulances that they have, we bring them in, they can bring one in for a flat tire, we'll create that work order, but just because it comes in for a flat tire, we are not just gonna fix that tire. What we have, excuse me, what the guys do is they put it on the lift, pick it up, and they will look at everything from front to rear. Anything that they find wrong, they write it up, and we order the parts, or we don't have them on hand, and we pretty much get everything done one shot. That way, it will eliminate having it to come back to the shop a week or two later, or a month later. We try to knock it all out in one shot and put it back into service as quick as possible. Right here, these are the numbers that I pulled from our system to show our scheduled versus unscheduled work order count. These are our overall costs for the fiscal year from 18-19 all the way through 21-22. As you can see, unscheduled work orders are pretty heavy within the fleet department. And also, I guess what you can look at is unscheduled, they show they're decreasing, and they decrease because of our preventative maintenance that we do on all these vehicles. And like I said before, when these vehicles come in, it could be for a headlight, flat tire, also AC problems, we're not just going to address that issue. We're going to address everything from front to rear and get that unit out of the shop as soon as possible. And this is a 10-year replacement plan. This is something that I've already been working on. I already have it 2030, 31, working on to that year. I work with all the departments on specs for their vehicles and what's getting replaced for the next fiscal year. And I also work with our finance director, because this is what we use to plan our budget for the next fiscal year and all the way up to 2030. And this is a list of next year's replacement vehicles. A total of 28 pieces of equipment are scheduled to be replaced for the 22-23 year fiscal year, I'm sorry. Our upcoming major purchase is the Quint 218 fire truck apparatus. Pricing for that came in at $1,298,921. Overall projected pricing for next fiscal year is going to be close to $2.9 million in vehicles and equipment replacement for next fiscal year. And this is a picture of Building 27. This is the outside. This building has been a blessing for the fleet department. Previously, we were in Building 10, 3 doors. It was, I guess best way I can say it was that working out of that building with the amount of equipment and assets that we have, it was hard. But now that we have this new building, we have more space, we have more room, we can fit a full fire truck in that building where we don't have to have the guys working out in the elements. So on behalf of myself, everybody on fleet, I don't know if she's here, Miss Suzanne Williams, Mr. Kelm, thank y'all for getting this building approved for us, because it's a lifesaver for the fleet department. It really is. I can't stress thank you enough for that. So thank y'all for Building 27. I really appreciate it. And in conclusion, we have our fleet staff. We are scheduled to be fully staffed in February. Our new mechanic starts after Valentine's Day. Our maintenance program, looking at the trend, our overall maintenance program, it is working. With Building 27, I do foresee that our overall maintenance will, I guess our preventative maintenance is going to increase, which will allow for vehicles longer service life, more time on the road, and less time in the shop. And our replacement schedule, we do have a 10-year plan, and I support it. I think it's a good plan based on looking at the vehicles that we have, what we currently have to what we're already getting. Once that vehicle does exceed its overall value, then yes, we do replace it. And also, Building 27, once again, thank y'all for that. I mean, it was, when I saw it from beginning to end to where it is at now, you know, it's amazing. Building 27 is, like Mr. Kelm said in the speech, it is a state-of-the-art facility, and there's nothing, the sky's the limit for that building, especially with the work that we do in there.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. Thank you for the presentation. And, you know, and kudos to you and your staff for taking a proactive approach. If a vehicle comes in, you give it an overall inspection. I think that is, that's very commendable that you take that initiative.
Yes.
Like you said, let's look and see what else is going on, because, like you said, most of the work is unscheduled.
Yes, it is.
It is. All right. Council, questions? Yes, Councilmember Whitaker.
Hi.
Hello.
First of all, I wanted to say it's a lot of work for just a couple of people. I was really actually surprised to see how small your staff is there. So great job keeping up with all the demands there.
Thank you.
I only just had the one question about the replacement time. You know, we've got all these scheduled for replacement, and I know you have to kind of project that out so we can order equipment and stuff. How do you do that when it's, you know, I understand it's your typical lifespan, but if a vehicle could actually last longer, like you're saying, if you do preventative maintenance, we can stretch it out a little bit further. What happens when you get to that point where you anticipate replacing a vehicle, but it's actually still roadworthy and we don't need to replace it? Is there some kind of like point where you say we evaluate it and we can actually push the replacement back a little bit, or how does that work?
I think when it comes to that, you know, Mr. Kelm, I know this was something that we had discussed, and I guess, you know, for me, I would maybe possibly.
So we do an evaluation at that year, and if we need to defer the purchase, we will push that out. So we work with finance. So say you're driving one of the pickup trucks in utility billing, and we projected they would be at 80,000 miles, and the repair costs are only at 20%. We'd probably keep that vehicle in service for another year or two. Typically, it's when the costs are 40% is the threshold on repairs. If they start exceeding that on an annual basis or even a biannual, that's when we start looking at that vehicle. Sometimes the vehicles accelerate the usage, and for some reason the repairs are going up, and then we'll replace that one sooner. So we look at year of execution, but you're right, he has to plan 10 years out and work that with Director of Finance. So it's kind of a placeholder, but those usually become the one-offs, really. And then sometimes we'll take a vehicle and repurpose it within the city, just if somebody else needs one, but it's still got a few more miles on it.
That was my other thought I forgot to mention. So what happens to the vehicles when you replace them?
So we take the used vehicle to govdeals.com and we auction it, and it's amazing the amount of money we're getting for these used vehicles. And maybe it's the time, but a lot of time, we sold a truck the other day, well, maybe a year ago.
We sold a PD vehicle for, I think it came back for like $8,500.
Yeah.
And
So
this one it was bad. Somebody wanted it, they
Yeah.
really paid $8,500.
Okay,
So we go to auction with them.
that's what I thought. Okay, great, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Dalla.
So first, y'all do a great job. You know, I was happy to vote to support getting you that facility. It was definitely needed, and I think the work that you guys are going to do will give us a great return on that investment. But one question I had for you is, we had last year or a couple of years ago, we talked about putting like GPS units in a few of the units to kind of see if that is something that would be worth deploying into the entire fleet to better track them, and what's the result on that?
That is actually currently in the works right now. I'm working with the vendor, and right now I'm working on a finalized list to present. I've already sent that to my director, and once we get further direction, we'll be able to move into that. Because yes, GPS is something that we are looking to install in our vehicles for maintenance purposes.
All right. That's all I have. Thank you.
Any other comments? No? Just one further question. Parts, very difficult to get? Or, I mean, because there's, are you having difficulties trying to get replacement parts or anything like that? I just,
No, I think one of the difficulties that we have had is just parts being on back order. But just because they're on back order, we can start looking at other vendors. It works for us I'd say last year, we had an ambulance in the shop, and normally for our vendors, it's either Blue Bonnet Ford or Jordan Ford. We needed an oil pan, and they just kept, we don't have it, we don't have it. Well, before I worked for the city, I worked for Penske Truck and Trailer, and I was actually a parts clerk there. So I called Grande Ford, and Grande Ford we actually have it in stock. So I was able to generate the RO and PO, and we got the part needed. I mean, it took 2 days for it to get there, but the answer we kept getting from the other dealerships was, it's on back order, nobody has it. So, we think outside the box in the department, and if we got to go to a different vendor or try a new vendor, that's what we do to get parts.
Thank you. Thanks again, Chris, for your presentation.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we continue, agenda item number 5, ordinance number 22S01. I know this is concerning the property on Trainer Hill, and it's not a public hearing, so if anybody wants to speak on item number 5, there is one more opportunity to sign up if you wish to. Otherwise, when we open this number 5, we are not going to allow any public comments. So it needs to be during the hearing of residents. One last chance. Okay, we'll move on then. Okay, city events and announcements. Mr. Kelm.
Good evening, Mayor. Our next regularly scheduled council meeting will be at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, February 1st, here in the chambers. And then on Friday, February the 4th, we have a strategic planning retreat at 8:30 a.m. in the community room of Fire Station number 3, and that's at 11917 Lower Seguin Road. And that's all we have tonight, sir.
Okay, announcements and recognitions by our city manager, Dr. Brown.
The only one I would like to make tonight, Mayor, is to thank Public Safety for all the great work they're doing with the tremendous caseload of COVID in the community. So, Mark, thank you. I don't know if Kate and Jason are here, but those folks are really making it happen. They've had quite a few cases among their departments, but they're making a great effort, and they're keeping our city safe. So certainly appreciate that.
Okay, announcements and recognitions by the mayor. I don't have any at this time, so we'll move on to the hearing of residents. This time is set aside for any person who wishes to address the city council. Each person is limited to 3 minutes, and we ask before addressing the council, for the record, please state your name and address. Mayor Pro Tem Dollar, could you please call our first speaker?
First speaker this evening is Daniel Jameson.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. It's kind of a bittersweet for me tonight. Originally, I just wanted to come down and find out what's going on, but as of last night, about 8:15, my mom passed away, and she was at home. She was comfortable, but we don't have a time and a date, but the services will be held at Colonial Funeral Home in Universal City on Kitty Hawk. So keep the family in prayer while we mourn the loss and celebrate her homecoming at the same time. Thank you all for your prayers so far, and continue holding the family up in prayer. And we'll continue working with the assistant managers on the situation with the drainage over there on Gettysburg and Richmond Drive, trying to get all of that straightened out. It's a long overdue correction that should have been made 50 plus years ago. So once again, thank you and for your prayers and concerns, and hope we can have some more time. Thank you.
We're sorry for your loss, Mr. Jameson. Mayor Pro Tem Dollar, please call our next speaker.
All right, next and final person this evening is Richard Jevitt.
Richard Jevitt, 2550 Chasefield Drive in Schertz. One of the things that I'd like to do is, I understand that there are always diversifications, whether they be in council, whether they be in the city, whatever. But one of the things that we have is one city that is kind of united really very well. I attended at 3 o'clock today, where the city was giving out the checks to all those businesses and special organizations that are here to help the city. It is extremely great to see the unification between staff, council, and the city to be able to support these kind of people, especially during what we have had in the past couple of years with everything that is going on. So all I wanted to do was come over here and say thank you to you all, and I'm glad that I live in Schertz and that you are here to help. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your comments. We really do appreciate it. We'll move on to consent agenda items. Consent agenda items are considered self-explanatory, and information packets are provided to council and available for public viewing. These items require no separate discussion unless requested by council. Item number 2, resolution number 22R14, a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, authorizing EMS debt revenue adjustments, utility billing debt revenue adjustments, and Schertz Magazine debt revenue adjustments for certain inactive outstanding receivables and other matters in connection therewith. Item number 3, ordinance number 22T03, an ordinance by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, authorizing an adjustment to the fiscal year 2021-2022 budget to provide funding for the purchase of HVAC equipment for the Civic Center HVAC replacement project, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict with this ordinance and providing an effective date. This is also our final reading. And item number 4, resolution number 22R11, a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, authorizing the city manager to enter into a job order contract with Sullivan Contracting Services for the purchase of HVAC equipment related to the Civic Center HVAC replacement project. Council, do any of these need to be removed for separate action? No. Is there a motion to approve items 2, 3, and 4?
Second.
Okay, we have motion by Councilmember Hayward, second by Councilmember Brown. Council, any other comments? Let's go ahead and call for the vote.
Aye.
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 We have 6 ayes, no objection, motion passes. We'll move on to our discussion item. Ordinance number 22S01. An ordinance by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, amending the comprehensive land use plan by changing approximately 363 acres of future land use map from agricultural conservation and estate neighborhood to the single-family residential land use designation, located approximately 6,050 feet east of the intersection of Trainer Hill Road and FM 1518, also known as Bexar County Property Identification Numbers 310053, 310060, 310061, and 310121, City of Schertz, Bexar County, Texas. Final reading. Council, do we need the presentation regarding this item? Anybody requesting the presentation? No? All right, no presentation required. All right, floor is open for discussion.
I'll make a motion that we approved ordinance 22.
Second.
We have a motion made by Councilmember Brown and second by Mayor Pro Tem Dalla. Council, any other comments? Let's go ahead and call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Nay.
Aye.
We have 5 ayes, one objection, motion passes. All right, our City Secretary Brenda Dennis will now provide us a roll call confirmation on consent agenda items 2, 3, and 4, and discussion item number 5. Ms. Dennis?
Yes, Mayor. Consent agenda items 2 through 4. A motion was made by Councilmember Hayward, seconded by Councilmember Brown. Mayor Pro Tem Dalla, Councilmembers Davis, Whitaker, Scagliola, Hayward, Brown voted yes, no one voted no. Motion was 6-0, motion passed. Ordinance number 22S01 on final reading. A motion was made by Councilmember Brown, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Dalla. Mayor Pro Tem Dalla, Councilmembers Davis, Whitaker, Hayward, and Brown voted yes. Councilmember Scagliola voted no. Motion 5-1, motion passed.
Thank you, Ms. Dennis. All right, we're moving right along. We have a workshop, appointment of the Mayor Pro Temp. Before we can move on, for the courtesy of those people looking, reviewing the video, the Mayor Pro Temp is a member of the council who performs the duties of the mayor during incapacity or his absence. The Mayor Pro Temp is elected by the majority vote of this council and among its membership. The Mayor Pro Temp retains the right to vote on all matters before the council while performing his or her duties as the mayor. The Mayor Pro Temp's term is for 6 months. And I'd like to thank Mayor Pro Tem Dalla, thank you for performing these duties between August 2021 and January 2022. And based on our procedures, the consideration and the appointment of the next Mayor Pro Temp is Councilmember Scagliola to serve the term between February 2022 and July 2022. And with that, I will open the floor for discussion. Council.
I make a motion that we appoint Mayor Pro Tem Scagliola for the next 6-month term.
And I second that.
Okay, we have a motion made by Councilmember Brown and second by Councilmember Hayward. Any other comments? Let's go ahead and call for the vote.
Aye.
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 We have 6 ayes, no objection, motion passes. All right. In this situation, we do need a roll call confirmation for item number 6. Ms. Dennis, could you please provide a roll call confirmation for
Yes,
the
sir.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Item number 6, the appointment of the Mayor Pro Tem. The motion was made to appoint Councilmember Scagliola. The motion was made by Councilmember Brown, seconded by Councilmember Hayward. Mayor Pro Tem Dalla, Councilmembers Davis, Whitaker, Scagliola, Hayward, Brown voted yes. No one voted no. Motion passed 6-0.
Thank you, Ms. Dennis. All right, we have 2 closed sessions. Item number 7, the City Council will meet in closed session under Section 551.071 of the Texas Governmental Code. Consultation with the attorney regarding contract negotiations with Schertz Local Government Corporation, SSLGC, and the Cibolo Valley Local Government Corporation, CVLGC, regarding water development projects. We also have item number 8. Our city council will meet in closed session under section 551.074 of the Texas Governmental Code on personal matters to conduct annual evaluation of our city manager, Dr. Brown. The time is now 6:33. We will reconvene after our discussion. The time is now 8:29. We are reconvening into our regular session after our discussion and deliberation regarding item number 7, contract negotiations with CVLGC and SSLGC. Start time was 6:39, end time was 6:57. And also item number 8, the annual evaluation of our city manager, Dr. Brown. Start time was 6:55. End time was 8:11. The chair would like to make a motion. Let me bring that up here.
Excuse me, Mayor, is there any action on the
Okay.
number 7?
The start time, is it?
No.
No, there is no action required on item number 7.
Thank you.
Item number 8, the chair will be making the motion to extend the city manager's contract for 2 years and provide a 2% pay increase with the effective date of the next pay period, and also authorize the mayor to sign off on the contract. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? Let's go ahead and call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye.
We have 6 ayes, no objection, motion passes. Okay. Our city secretary will now provide us a roll call confirmation on item number 8.
A motion was made by the chair, seconded by Councilmember Whitaker, to extend Dr. Brown's contract for 2 years, authorize a 2% pay increase effective the next pay period, and authorize the mayor to execute the city manager's contract. Mayor Pro Tem Dalla, Councilmembers Davis, Whitaker, Scagliola, Hayward, Brown voted yes, no one voted no. Motion passed 6-0.
Thank you, Ms. Dennis. Okay, we'll move on to item number 9. There was an update on major projects in progress and capital improvement projects. That information is available to the public on our website, Schertz.com. And we'll move on to requests and announcements. Any further announcements from our city manager, Dr. Brown?
Well, Mayor, I just wanted to thank the council, tell you how much I appreciate your confidence in me for a 2-year extension and the raise. And I just want to tell you it's been a pleasure to work with all of you. You're a great council. You work well together. We work through our differences, and I think that's what's really important. And it's been a pleasure for me to serve the city of Schertz, a city that I love and that I seek the best for. So thank you all again.
Okay. Council, any possible updates or information requested from staff? Okay, Council, any possible items? Oh, yes, yes.
No, I'd just like to have the PD follow up on the request that I had back in October on the truck traffic on Schertz Parkway.
Okay. Get that? Okay, thank you. Council, any other items requested from staff? Council, is there any possible items you'd like to place on the future agenda? None. Okay. Then we'll continue with announcements by our council members. Mayor Pro Tem Dalla.
Nothing.
Councilmember Davis.
Yeah, we had a Main Street working group meeting last night. A lot of good discussion, a lot of good information, and we should have some updated things coming to council in the near future. Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Whitaker.
I attended the Northeast Partnership Luncheon, the ribbon cutting at Prestige Tax and Notary. Also held a town hall meeting for residents of the Crossvine and Sedona related to the development going on 1518, and that was on Sunday. It was, I thought, well attended. People had some good questions, and it was just an opportunity to have the residents ask questions directly and be answered, because they don't have the opportunity when they come here and just for the hearing of the residents. So we wanted to have that dialogue, and I thought it went really well. And finally, on somewhat of a side note, I attended the Clemens performance of Annie the Musical. It was lovely, and I believe some staff children were involved, maybe some more, but the orchestra, some people are not paying attention, was really good quality orchestra, and clarinets especially. That is all.
Councilmember Scagliola.
Yeah, was at the small business grant. The recipients got their checks today, and definitely a feather in our cap for promoting such a worthwhile program for our small businesses in the city of Schertz. That's all I have.
Councilmember Hayward.
Yes, I attended the Northeastern Partner Luncheon.
Councilmember Hayward, I can't hear you.
Sorry, the Northeast Partnership Luncheon, the Main Street Committee last night, and as Councilman Davis said, there's a lot of good discussion and a lot of things coming up that I think people will be happy with some of the items that are be coming forward. And then today, the American Rescue Grant Program, to see the businesses come in and receive their checks. And just knowing that the city was able to do that program and help the businesses, not make them whole, but give them something. It was amazing, and I got all choked up, but it was a good event, all in all.
Okay. Councilmember Brown.
Main Street, Northeast Partnership, all good stuff, and I like the way our city's going right now. Thank you.
Okay. The time is now 8:35. We stand adjourned.